The professional triers and the Holiday Lighting Think Tank have teamed up with Cool Tees to provide you, our VIP listeners, with some cool, awesome, and one-of-a-kind professional triers gear, including t-shirts, brew mugs, can coolies, coffee mugs, and of course, the one and only Think Tank flannel shirt made famous by none other than our own JR. So go to HLTTgear.com, that's HLTTGEAR.com, and get your professional triers gear today.
Ho, ho, ho. It's old Santa Claus. Yeah, it's in the middle of the summer. So that's why Daddy's having a little fireball. Nothing wrong with it. That's right, Santa Claus is a little drunk. So what? So what? Broadcasting from Boscoyo Podcast Studios in California and Nebraska. Try to say that when you're hammered out of your mind. The same dudes that brought you the Holiday Lighting Think Tank. You're listening to the Professional Triers. Vinny's sitting on Santa Claus's lap. Good boy, Vinny. Here's Vinny and JR.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is a very, very special podcast today because we're not in technically the Boscoyo studios today. We are at Corporate Monster, as you can see by our wide supply of Monster energy drinks on our table.
I'm touching you right now.
And Vinny is actually touching us. We're both in California.
I just touched you with my hand.
And we actually have our guest here too. This is what's crazy. This is like a real
touching
podcast
him too.
now.
I'm touching
We're
him.
all together. So our great guest, we have Lee, who is probably...
What about me? You got to introduce me first.
Oh, you already talked, so I figured...
But you got to introduce me. You got to make this
Vinny
official. Jeez, I can't
sitting
believe
next to
it.
me.
Hi, JR.
Hi, Vinny.
I missed you.
I missed you too.
I haven't seen you in like 3 minutes.
I know. We've been doing a lot of stuff in San Diego and the SoCal Mini. Been hanging out with Lee a lot. And our special guest today is Lee Lindquest, right? Did I do it right?
Yep.
Yes. Awesome.
Welcome, Lee.
Thank you.
I am
you, Vin.
so glad to have you on.
It is a pleasure. It's good to see you guys in person.
Do you know that you're the smartest person we've had on this podcast?
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
I do. I truly believe it.
Who else have you had?
We had a decent amount of people, but
Who's list?
yes. But I don't know anybody. We haven't had anybody else that's made a Pixel controller. We've had a Pixel 2 Things guy, but not a Pixel controller. And Lee is super smart. But before we do that, we got to
He's
get our.
way smarter than David.
We got all our nice fancy Monster beverages here at Monster, which
Is this the official
awesome.
top popping?
yes, the official top hopping.
This is the first Monster I've had in probably a year and a half or so. We'll see if it's as good as I remember.
Yeah, you went with the original green can, and I have the new green tea, dragon tea. Which
I am very excited about that
freaking-
new beverage.
it is delicious.
It is going to be great. We did find out that it is a launch of 2019, and it's going to be available globally. And I had one, and it was fantastic.
Should be at your liquor store soon.
Liquor store. I mean, it might be available there, but it could be available at gas stations too, or supermarkets.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Liquor store? Do you only get Monster at the liquor store?
No, but I could get Monsters at the liquor store because our liquor stores aren't just a liquor store; it's like a convenience store. Like
So why don't you
it's
call
like
them convenience stores instead of liquor stores?
Because they say liquor on them.
But liquor stores for us, Midwesterners, normal people, are liquor. That's where that's all you have there.
Can you buy soda at a liquor store in California? Or do you
Yes.
have- okay. See, I think at least ours, you can't sell them in the same store.
When I think of liquor store, it's only alcohol.
Only
So
alcohol.
for us,
You
a
can't buy
liquor store
fruit
is
or-
like a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, see, for us, that's a gas station.
Mm-hmm. We can't get fruit or
Put it there, Lee.
Yep.
Right.
Midwest.
But gas stations are like
Midwest.
liquor stores too.
They're convenience stores. They got a little of everything.
They got liquor though too.
But that's not a liquor store. That's a gas station.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like we don't have stupid rules. We can get alcohol wherever
if
we
you
need
think
it.
JR is weird and Californians are weird, please let us know. I think that.
The only one weird is Vinny.
I I think that. All right. Well, we have to keep these to a strong 30 minutes.
Yes.
Let's roll.
Because we're trying to roll through a bunch of them. So, Lee, tell us a little about yourself.
Personal or Christmas lighting, or both?
Personal. Let's hear about the family,
Sure.
what your job is, stuff like that.
So I live in Wichita, Kansas, and I've lived there for about the last 20 years, but I've lived all over the country. Was born in Iowa, moved to Michigan, Pennsylvania, back to Michigan, then to Kansas. So I've been a lot further north, a little colder climate usually. And I've got been married for 12 years this month, and I've got a 7-year-old son, just the only one. And I have one sister who has been in the theatrical and kind of entertainment industry for many years. She worked at Disney, and it's amazing how our paths have kind of converged over the years. I kind of made fun of her and didn't really care about what she was doing a lot in high school and college with theater, and especially technical theater. And then just in the last 5 or 6 years or so, we've really started talking a lot more about Christmas lights and theatrical stuff, because it as our displays get more complicated and more technically advanced, a lot of those realms end up crossing paths. And so I find myself calling her and asking, hey, what does this piece of equipment do, or how can I get this effect? And it's been pretty cool. And she worked at Disney for several years, and so I went out there and got to see some of the behind the scenes and some of the technical side of how they make the magic. And I've been doing Christmas lights since I was 4 or 5 years old with my parents, and my grandparents have a farm out in Iowa, and my grandfather got me introduced to wireframes at the age of probably 6 or 7 years old. He bought some pre-made wireframes, and we would put the C7s with electrical tape on them and wrap them with garland, and it was all, for the most part, static displays. We had some real simple lighting controllers that were like a motor and a wheel that would spin around and just do a sequential animation. There was no programming, no digital logic. It was all just blinking something in a sequence, and he still puts on that display to this day. And I would say my grandparents are probably the biggest inspiration to me continuing to build a display, because they were always very interested in encouraging and doing that. And I've been doing an animated display at my house since 2007, when I bought my first house and started with Lightorama. Had 3 controllers, so 48 AC channels, and just really enjoyed it ever since. Been doing pixels since about 2012, I believe, 12 or 13, and started that on a commercial display, and that display has just grown tremendously. And I work there kind of seasonally now, so I work on a display at Botanica, Wichita Gardens, downtown Wichita, and still do some other smaller displays, help some other friends out with some of their projects. And our walkthrough display, we had about 80,000 people go through it last year, so it's a good size display. It's a big fundraiser for the gardens. They're continuously expanding and growing, and just overall interested in technology. My full-time jobs revolve around technology and kind of production, so I do. I'm a partner in a fireworks company, partner in a solar business and a software business, and then I do some consulting as well. And then I do the Christmas lights for Botanica, so involved in a lot of different things.
And your connection, connection is the word I'm going to go with Disney, and the relationships that you've been able to develop with partners there, has served you certain benefits in your display.
Sure, absolutely.
Particularly, I'm thinking about the moving heads.
Yeah,
which
absolutely. So I have seen moving heads, obviously, in concerts and big theater productions for many years, and didn't even know what they were called technically. I would just call them like the moving lights or the spotlights. That's what a lot of people, I think, have termed them as spotlights. How do they get those spotlights that move around like that? And I started bugging my sister about that a few years ago, and she got me in contact with some rental houses that would buy this stuff and rent it out for concerts and other traveling shows. And they are constantly changing over their equipment. Every couple of years, as new things come out, all of the lighting designers and all of the artists demand the latest and greatest, the best stuff. So they are going through their inventory every 18 to 24 months. And I got in touch with one of these guys and said, hey, listen, I'm looking for some some moving heads, and he sent me a huge spreadsheet of all of their equipment that they were getting ready to get rid of. So yeah, you can find great deals on used equipment if you just get in touch with the right people. And I got some very high end commercial moving head lighting fixtures for really 10 cents on the dollar in comparison to new. And they're 2 years old. They've been well taken care of, and they're name brand stuff. So I've had experience with at least in the moving head front, some of the knockoffs, some of the Chinese stuff. And I say knockoffs not in necessarily a bad term, but they're clones of some of the Clay Packies and some of the Martin equipment. And they're okay. They work just fine. I've had good experience with them. But in comparison to a name brand like a Clay Packy, there really is no comparison. And if I could get a name brand fixture used for the same price or even a little bit cheaper than a brand new Chinese fixture, I've just had such great luck with them. And I would recommend, if you are interested in some theatrical lighting equipment, whether it's moving heads or any other DMX fixture or special effect, fog machines, hazers, anything like that, reach out to a rental house, a theatrical rental company, and just find a local or even a national connection and see what kind of used equipment they've got, because there's some great deals to be had if you just make a few phone calls and make some contacts.
I truly believe that you are the smartest person in this hobby in terms of the moving head side, specifically about that. So you're the only person that I can think of that can answer this question. Is the Batman signal really ever possible?
So
could it be done?
The Batman signal, the way you see it in television and in the movies, potentially you could potentially do a bat signal. The problem with the look would most likely be seeing the beam in the air. So to get something that's strong enough to make a nice shape up in a cloud, you'd have to have a really specific weather pattern. Probably you'd have to have a really low cloud ceiling that was very uniform. And if you've got something like that, you probably have enough moisture in the air that the beam itself around the image would be so bright. I don't know as if you'd see the image up in the sky. So I will tell you, though, we did have at our Botanical Gardens show last year, we had some interesting weather where there were real low cloud ceilings, like 2,000 to 3,000 feet. And you can see the beam, the spot that it makes clear as day in the cloud, not just the visible beam, but the spot actually up on the cloud ceiling. I didn't try it with a gobo, so the shapes that you can make and shaping the beam into any kind of picture, those are typically called gobos. I didn't try that with a gobo, but my guess is if I had a simple shape like a bat signal and you had a low cloud ceiling, I bet you could do the bat signal.
So I can make you the Matos M from my Matos Designs.
Probably, but I don't know. Do you have the weather though? Do you have the cloud cover?
No, I don't.
That's the problem. It would be very, very weather dependent. When you're talking, shooting up 30 or 40,000 feet to upper atmospheric clouds, that's not going to happen. But if you've got something in the 1,000 to 2,000 foot range, you could, I would say very likely, I'd give it a 80 to 90% probability of being able to do that.
But that's something you could do if
I have a new life goal.
you move. If you had your head go from the ground up, it could show it on the ground, but then it still would look like
sure.
It would still look like a beam in the air, though, right?
No, I think if you had a cloud ceiling, a low cloud ceiling, I think you could see the shape in the sky. So you'd have to have a day where there's really low cloud cover. So nice clear air below, but a strong cloud ceiling at like 1,000 to 2,000 feet. And I think you would definitely see the shape, not just the beam. I think you'd see the shape.
But you would still see the beam. Even if you couldn't see
Right.
the shape in the air, you could still see the
definitely.
beam. And then when it shines to the ground, you could see the shape.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that might be a cool little thing,
you
too.
can definitely see the shape. We use, in our botanical gardens, we use a lot of gobos shining into trees, not so much for the specific shape, but just having a lot of tiny beams of light instead of one large beam, and then just rotating it very slowly through the trees. It makes kind of a cool snowfall effect. So there's a lot of, that's one of the things that when I talk to people about moving heads is a lot of people want that beams in the sky look, which is awesome. That's a great application for a moving head, but their real power and where they're used the most in a theatrical standpoint is shining onto surfaces, not shining up into the sky, but to make patterns either on the crowd, like in a bowl or a stadium environment, or onto a surface, like a stage backdrop or somewhere else out in the audience. So I think that's a lot of a lot of times overlooked when people come to me and they say, "Oh, I want to do the beams in the sky look," and they've heard that I've done some moving head stuff, and I say, "Well, that's great. You can do that, but you're missing out on a lot of the versatility and power of your fixture if that's all you're ever going to use it for." So, mounting them up high to where you have the option of shining them down onto the ground or shining them out into the crowd, in addition to shining them up into the sky, is great. Personally, I have an issue. I shouldn't say an issue, but I have a little bit of hesitation of putting them on the ground because you lose a lot of that capability. If they're on the ground, really the only place you can go is up. You can't point down into that big flat area that you've got. So we go back and forth with that on my own display and other displays that I help out with of where best to put them, because there's caveats everywhere. You put them on the ground, they're easier to maintain. In the case where like ours, we don't have covers for them. I've got too many and they're too expensive. I haven't covered them up yet. So I just cover them up at night when I know it's going to be raining or have snow or something like that. But if they were up high and it was difficult to get to, we wouldn't have that option. We would have to get some kind of domes or purchase fixtures that were, waterproof and outdoor rated. So that's a big issue with movers for sure.
So realistically, like the best place for an average Christmas lighter to put them would be on the peak right above their garage.
It's a good spot, definitely. I think the displays that I personally like that have integrated it, use them in high points of some kind. So either up on the roof or if you've got some kind of a fence line or other structure in your yard or in your driveway where you can elevate them a little bit to where you can take advantage of that height to shine them down or to shine them out onto some other structure. So, for example, I've seen a couple displays where they're closer to the audience, but then they're used to shine onto the house to create like a spotlight effect or to scan the ground, or to even what I've done in some other displays, not Christmas displays, but I do a 4th of July display as well with pyrotechnics and lasers. We mount them up high and then we use them for blinders. So, instead of just a tight beam, we put a frost effect on it and a real wide aperture, real wide focus. And it's like a strobe. So we can flash them very quickly and it's not super intense. It's not going to burn your retinas, but it's like a good, good blinder audience effect, very, very much like a rock concert or something high energy. So,
That's cool.
keeping it up high, I think gives you more versatility for sure.
Now, you're also involved in the controller side of this hobby a little bit too.
Yep.
Please, and I don't even want to ask a specific question about it because I'm not going to do it justice. I'm just going to open it up. What can you tell us about the controllers you make
Sure.
and what system you're going through?
Yeah, so I'm working with a couple of other folks on designing controllers and a software system that makes it easier for people to just jump in and get started with something in the lighting hobby. So this is not a plug, but since you asked, it's Easy Lights is the system. And basically what we've done is taken a pixel controller and an AC controller. So the system is designed to be modular. So there is a kind of a CPU board or a main or a brain board that has multiple expansion boards, similar to a Falcon or other expansion-based lighting control systems. But our CPU board, the difference is we designed it from the beginning to be an internet-connected device. So whether that's Wi-Fi or a hardwired network, the device is online and it interfaces with an online portal and content management system. So the Easy Lights system is designed so that you can plug a controller in and plug in strings of lights, and without any knowledge of how to set the controller up or design sequences, you can have a fully functioning Megatree or Singing Faces or Matrix system. So if you want to get started brand new in the hobby and say, yeah, I've seen these Megatrees, I don't really want to learn all of this stuff right away, or I want to get something that I know will just work out of the box with minimal configuration. That is the goal of Easy Lights. We've got a content library that we've licensed, and all of these sequences are compatible with our software. And it's as simple as clicking a button on the Easy Lights sequence store. The sequence is automatically downloaded to your controller through the web, And on that same dashboard is where you can build your playlists and your schedules, and your content, do any of your testing without ever opening any other piece of software. You can do the whole thing through a web browser on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, without any software whatsoever. And the cool thing about it is it's not locked into any of that system. So our controllers are full E131, ArtNet, DDP compatible. So they work with X-Lights, they work with FPP, it works with everything else that's out there right now. But we add this additional layer of ease of use for people that might not be comfortable with the software. They might not want to learn it all right away. We can give that kind of easier barrier, lower the barrier to entry, give them that easier path, and hopefully get more people into the hobby. I know that's a big concern of newbies and people that have seen this stuff is, how do I get started? I mean, a lot of us, when we first find some of these Facebook groups or local meetups, it's like drinking from a fire hose. There's just so much information. There's so many different ways to go, and it turns a lot of people off. I mean, I've met folks even in my own little local area that they come to Botanica and they see the display, and I've seen them for 3 or 4 years, and they're like, "Oh, how did you do that? How did you do that?" And I show them, the software. I show them some of the groups, and then they come back the next year. They still don't have their display running. They're frustrated. They said, "Well, I bought this stuff, and I tried to do this and that," and for some people, they just don't have the time or the interest to learn it. They might not be able to get to a mini, to meet some people in person, and they might just want to buy something. They might want to try a system that can get them something up and running without learning all the technical ins and outs of it. And we hope that will help get more people into this hobby, because it really is a lot of fun. I think anybody that's been in it for a couple of years, they're some of the happiest people in the world. And I mean, we're really bringing a lot of joy to others, and it's a lot of fun. And if people could find an easier way to get into that, I think we could just keep growing that community.
That's awesome.
Like Santa said, that's awesome.
So I had to do a follow up.
Okay. Of course, you always follow up.
I know. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you love me? Why don't you love me? Maggie
is not here.
I know, she's not even here right now.
What's she doing?
This doesn't work. She's at home with the kids.
Yeah.
I love
she having
her so
fun?
much. She's so pretty. I have to say these things because she'll listen to this podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Out of pure anger that she's not here, and she just needs to be reminded of these things so that she doesn't kill me. So Everlights, is it up
Everlights? It's
Easy Lights. I'm sorry.
I think there is an Everlight.
There is an Everlight. So I just plugged the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Easy Lights. Is it available for people to use yet?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And how do they find it then?
So easylights.com, or it is distributed through Holiday Coro. So you can buy the controllers through Holiday Coro, and then all of the software and sequencing is all through easylights.com through the dashboard.
Okay. Very cool.
Yep.
I mean, I'm excited about Easy Lights. I think it's a fantastic way for more to get back into it.
Oh yeah, it seems like a very easy way for people to get into the hobby.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
We hope.
Is it for any kind of effect for a house, or is it strictly like mega trees? Or
So right now we have mega trees and AC singing faces and some simple matrices. So right now it's fairly limited in the types of props that it supports, but the goal is to standardize a few more prop types, like maybe a leaping arch or something
house
like
outline.
that. Exactly, house outline. Because that's part of the difficulty in this whole thing is striking a balance between canned, out of the box, push a button and it works, and full customization. So ideally, when somebody wants to get to that more custom level, they will have a little bit better understanding of how it all works, and they can start looking into X-Lights or Lightorama or anything like that. We don't see ourselves as competing directly with a lot of the hobbyist stuff. We see this as maybe
an entryway in.
And either an introduction into the hobby, or for some people, this may be the only thing they ever want. If they want a simple, maybe they've been doing a static display for years and they just want to add a mega tree. They're like, I've seen the mega tree, I want to do the mega tree. how can I put up a mega tree without even thinking about it?
Yeah,
That's
you
kind
just
of the goal.
Want something there that's like
Yep.
your static display.
Yep. And we hope, in the future to use the technology of the internet automatic distribution of sequences to maybe partner with local installers or contractors to where people that want to put up a display but don't necessarily want to do it themselves, they could have a local, landscaper or contractor would be the ones that would put it up, and they could help be the intermediary, kind of like any of the sequencing groups that will help you do sequencing now. They might be able to develop a custom sequence for you, do the work, upload it to your controller, and they'll have access to that, that interface to push that sequence to your display all online. Again, you don't have to download any software or mail any SD cards or anything like that. It would all be automatically delivered. But just to create a little bit different marketplace and way for people to get content to their displays and help set them up. So.
Yeah, that could be huge for the
Yeah.
commercial industry.
Yep.
Just little shopping malls, stuff like that. They just buy the mega tree, it plugs it in. You pay maybe a sequencer to maintain it in
Make
a sense.
custom sequence. Yeah, there's no reason it can't support custom sequences, and we do have users that we've pushed custom sequences to for testing and just to see how the whole system would work. It all works. It's just an evolution of the design. We're really kind of seeing where we want to go with it, but that's definitely something we've looked into.
Sounds very cool. All right, I think it's time to get into the fun of our podcast. The real
You're saying
fun.
this wasn't fun?
No,
The lighting?
no. We
I had
get
fun.
some
I had fun
really
with you,
good
Lee.
questions.
Gosh, I had so much fun.
And now a word from our sponsors. The Pixel Pro Display Sequence Club is the only club that pays for itself. Here are just some of the benefits of becoming a member. Each month you will receive a free original sequence programmed by the pros at PPD to take your display to the next level. Access to weekly X-Lights effects presets, which you can use in your own sequences or modify to create your own unique effects library. Access to the PPD affiliate discount program, getting up to 15% off or more from over a dozen of our PPD partners. So visit us on the web today at pixelprodisplays.com and also find us on Facebook at Pixel Pro University. Pixel Pro Displays. What can Pixel Pro Displays do for you?
JR's got a dirty mind. Vinny is just an idiot. But somehow, this is still journalism? Let's now do some rapid-fire questions.
The best part of the show, the rapid fire questions. So I have to go with my go-to question. What color is your toothbrush?
It is clear and blue. Clear and blue.
I don't have in this computer, it's, I'm not in my normal office, so I don't have my list of rapid fire questions. So I got to do this just off memory and whatever comes to mind. I'm going to go with, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Ooh.
Is it a sandwich?
Sandwich. A hot dog. Well, a hot dog, that's a good question. Because a hot dog could just be the meat part. I mean, when you buy hot dogs at the store, it's just the meat. But if you buy a hot dog at a vendor, it could have meat and all kinds of other stuff. So I would say, yes, a hot dog is a sandwich. Yes.
Is a cereal a soup? Why or why not?
Is a cereal a soup? So I would say no for the sole reason of I don't like cold soup, and I would never eat a hot cereal. So I typically would say soup.
You don't eat oatmeal?
My oatmeal is lukewarm. So I do not. It is the weirdest thing. I do not boil water for oatmeal. I use hot-ish water out of the tap. I love oatmeal,
Hot-ish.
but my oatmeal. Do not watch me eat oatmeal. It is.
You're not
my
weird
oatmeal,
on this. I'm
my
the same.
oatmeal is like
I'm
a
the same
soup.
on this.
Yeah, my oatmeal is like a soup because it has way too much water in it and it is not hot.
Never mind, we're not the same.
No.
Okay, if you were a ghost, who or where would you haunt?
Oh man. I would real haunted houses. I would definitely hang out in real haunted houses and people that were either working there or after hours or before hours, I would make people question their belief in reality. Absolutely.
All right, since you
That's
know
the
so
best
much
answer.
about Disney, would Lightning McQueen get car insurance or life insurance?
Ooh. Well, everything is car themed, so I think Lightning McQueen would get car insurance. Yeah, they don't eat food. They eat oil. They sip oil cans, and they don't go to the doctor. They go to the mechanics. So I think they get car insurance.
Good answer. Are you done? Do you want some more?
I take some more.
Okay, I got to steal some of yours because I just don't have my list.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
like
fine.
my list.
It's fine.
And
Steal some of
without my
mine.
list. Okay.
I worked really hard on this list. I hope you like them.
How many did you steal from the internet?
I did. I actually. This is not. This is me and my coworker coming up with random facts.
That's typically how my mind works.
Yeah.
Okay, if a number 2 pencil is the most common,
Mm.
why is it not the number 1 pencil?
Ooh. That is a good question. I'm sure there's a technical reason. I mean, the 2 is like the hardness or something of the lead, so it probably has something. I'm going to make this up, but it probably has something to do with the advent of like standardized testing and scantrons and stuff. Because like that's really where I think the requirement for a number 2 pencil came from. Is the scantron machines had a hard time reading the harder pencil leads because it made a softer mark. So I think automated test scoring is probably what standardized the number 2 pencil.
See, I'm glad I know some of those words you just said.
Yeah.
You've taken a Scantron test.
I know,
We're about
but,
the
like,
same age.
I didn't know it was called a scan.
That was
Yeah.
super like
that
technical.
sounds like a transformer.
That was the most technical talk
Scantron.
ever
It's
about
the
a
bubble,
pizza.
the bubble
I mean,
sheets.
pencil.
You take the test, you fill in the bubbles, and then they go through the machine and they score it.
It's a bubble test.
Yeah,
I
bubble
just-
test. Yeah,
Scantron.
Scantron. It's probably copyrighted, so hopefully they don't complain to us. But no,
Yeah.
the
All
bubble
right.
testing.
So I'm gonna go with another hot dog question. If you pour ice water on a hot dog, does it become a chili dog?
No, I mean it becomes no.
Wordplay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were last one for me.
But when my dog is cold, I do call her a chili dog. So when she comes in from the outside and she is cold, yeah.
Is that going to be your dog voice thing? If I just imagine
Dog
it,
voice?
where you go,
Chili dog.
Oh, you a chili
yeah.
dog.
So actually, here, it's a true story. My dog's name is Beta. That tells you a little bit about my nerdiness. My dog's name is Beta, B-E-T-A.
Nerd alert.
Yeah.
Is your password the last 8 numbers of the pie?
No, that would be Mr. Nash. But no, my dog's name is Beta, and it has a multiple meaning. So if you're familiar with old tape technology, the Betamax, and that's her official name is Beta Maxine. Betamax was a superior format to VHS, but it lost the format war due to marketing. My dog is a mixed breed mutt that we got from the Humane Society, and mixed breeds are arguably healthier and just better for the dog population to adopt from a Humane Society versus buying from a breeder. So I like telling that story because I support rescuing animals and not breeding them and not buying a quote unquote purebred just because you want something to look a certain way. So I like to think that my dog, although she didn't win the marketing war as far as being the most popular thing, I like to think that she's a little bit superior genetically, maybe.
So I'm
Beta Maxine.
Bob Barker here. Please get your animals spayed and neutered.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so my last one. If you are a mega monster, what city are you rampaging through?
Oh man,
That's awkward. We're at the Mega Mini right now.
yeah.
Ooh, if you are a monster.
No, I'm sorry. We're not at a Mega Mini. That's
We're at the
Florida.
Monster
We're at
Mini.
the Monster Mini.
Yeah.
You got me
Oh,
confused with Mega Monster.
Mega monster.
We're at the Monster Mini.
So, I would probably just go somewhere where there aren't a lot of people and a lot of buildings, because I would like to see what I could do if I were a monster. Like, how much destruction could I cause? But I don't know if I'd really want to actually hurt anybody. So maybe go to like the Bikini Islands or someplace where there's some nuclear testing and just go ravage a place that's already been ravaged.
It's funny how he says he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but he does conveniently choose to go to the Bikini Islands. I think he wants to go to the Bikini Islands. He's just smart about his excuse why he wants to go there.
Well, just
do you even know what that is?
A Bikini Island?
That's where they did the nuclear testing.
That's where they did
nuclear
testing.
It's
But
nobody that lives there.
I want to assume
There's nobody in
that's-
bikinis there.
There's nobody in bikinis there?
No.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Son of a...
No.
Yeah. All right. Nice try.
I'd want to see like how much, power I had and what I could do, but I don't think I'd want to like actually hurt people.
Yeah. I can't believe that you really thought that was like a bikini island.
I kind of assumed like, island, bikini.
That was horrible. All right.
That was
I'm
a
still a
nice
smart
try.
person.
That was a nice try, Santa. Santa said you're a nice try. All right. That is our time for today. But I have one last thing to ask Lee because he looks like he's 12. Do you mind telling us your age?
35.
No way.
35 in June. Yep.
Wow. You look like you're 25.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, this
Not
is
even.
the dark side. This is the gray side.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, look at these gray hairs in
Yeah,
here.
Vinny got the gray side.
Yeah, when we were hanging out with him and Jordan, I was worried that they're going to get in the bars.
Yeah.
We go bar hopping with him. They're like, I'm sorry, sirs, you can't bring your children with you.
Yeah. All right, Lee. Thank you so much for being on our
thank you
podcast and
guys.
taking the time from the mini to come hang out in this conference room
It's
at
great.
Monster.
Now get on out of here.
Good seeing you. Take it easy.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Ho, ho, ho. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to get on the nice list. Make sure you join the Holiday Lighting Think Tank on Facebook. Ho, 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 ho,